What's good, crypto fam? Welcome to podcast episode number 1195. Let's get it. In today's show, Bitcoin is eyeing the next big move, which analysts say could retest 19,000 or we can see 28,000. Also in today's show, check it. Jack Mallers shares breaking news of Strike now letting businesses instantly send US dollars over the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Also El Salvador to open a Bitcoin embassy in the United States. That's right. After debuting a Bitcoin embassy in Switzerland's city of Lugano, El Salvador continues expanding its Bitcoin strategy with a new partnership in Texas. Also in today's show, I'll be sharing the 3 reasons why Binance's BNB token risks sliding further by March. Also, we'll be discussing breaking news, Circle squashes rumors of planned SEC enforcement action, as well as the Bitcoin price is primed to outpace Ethereum rapidly in the coming weeks, says top crypto strategist Crypto Calio. Also in today's show, Andrew Tate, the top G, reveals how much Bitcoin he has seized or had seized by the authorities, him and Tristan. I'll be breaking this down for you. And I remind you, back in the day, he revealed he invested $600,000 into Bitcoin, which turned into $12 million. And that was like back in 2020. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. And welcome everyone joining. This is pod episode 1195. I am your host, JV. Today is February 15th. And let's check out the overall market, which you can see here on your screen. We got pumpage, which I love to see. Bitcoin up 3.4% for the day, maintaining above 22,800. Hopefully, we can surpass 23,000 during today's live. Let's make it happen. We got Ether up almost 2%, trading at 1580. BNB finally back in the green after pretty substantial losses in the past 48 hours. And as you can see, the overall crypto market is pumping. And checking out coin market cap, we can see we're back above the $1 trillion milestone with about 56 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. Current Bitcoin dominance just under 42%, with the Ether dominance at 18.4%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, we have Immutable X up 13%, trading at $1.20, followed by BNX up 11.5%, trading at $162, followed by Mina, or is it Mina? Someone tell me how to properly pronounce this one. Up 16%, trading at $1.15. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, Mina is up 38%, BGB is up 91%, and BNX up about 41%. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, you can see we're neutral at a 53. Yesterday was a 50, last week a 58 in greed, and last month a 45 in fear. So there you have it. And again, welcome to everyone just joining us. Massive shout out to everyone in the live chat. As you all know, my favorite segment is the live chat at the end of the show. And if you're listening to the pod on Spotify or iTunes, be sure to check out cryptonewsalerts.net, as this is first and foremost a video show, and that's the YouTube channel. But with that being shared, let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis, with Bitcoin heading towards 28,000, or is it 19? This week could decide all, according to the latest analysis. Despite returning above 22 Gs on back of February 14th, United States Consumer Price Index print, Bitcoin has yet to resume the blistering rally, which saw it gain 40%. In January, after 2 weeks of consolidation, the time to make a decision is here. Quoting analyst Scoo, I think they're setting up for a big move here. He summarized alongside a chart showing relevant Bitcoin price targets. Those targets came in the form of 28,000 and 19,000 to the downside. Both somewhat echo other perspectives from throughout the 2023 recovery, with the area immediately below 20,000 of particular interest. Current spot price levels, meanwhile, show that Bitcoin is testing a pivotal area here in the big range. He continued, next couple of days will be important, and asked whether the odds favor one direction or another. The answer was less appetizing for the bulls, eager to continue a trip towards 30,000. A combo of the US dollar strength, bond yields, and stock market performance has already set up a problematic scenario for risk assets en masse, he explained. From here, and the structure of the DXY and Japanese yen makes sense for the US dollar to rally into Friday. There is also a dislocation between the 2-year and ES. Weakness in high beta assets today would confirm a move down in risk assets. Now, as Cointelegraph reported, the US dollar is on the radar for many market participants this month after seeing its own rebound, potentially breaking a multi-month downtrend definitively. The DXY continued to hold ground, as you can see in this chart, reclaiming its latest push higher on the day at around 103.5, according to the latest from TradingView. And for fellow analysts and trader tech dev, there is an even cause to consider a parabolic return to form for the US dollar currency index. With all the downside pressure on crypto and risk assets that this would imply, he referred to the relationship between the dollar and the Chinese bond yields, quoting him here, "Interesting that this liquidity signal just put in a similar double bottom to the DXYs 2 years ago before it went parabolic." He commented on this chart, which you can see here on February 12th. And as I shared in the intro of the show, we got pretty big news coming from Strike, now letting businesses instantly send US dollars over the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So massive shout out to Jack Maulers. And how many of you are currently bullish on the King Crypto and are anticipating a 28,000 move more likely than back down to the 18, 19, sub 20,000 range? Let me know in the comments right down below. And now let's break down the latest with El Salvador creating a new embassy in the United States in Texas. Let's go. Check it. The world's biggest crypto, Bitcoin, is connecting more countries as the government of El Salvador is opening a Bitcoin embassy in the U.S. El Salvador, a country that adopted Bitcoin as a legal tender in 2021, is expanding its Bitcoin strategy in a new partnership with the government of Texas. The intergovernmental collaboration aims to set up a Bitcoin embassy or El Salvador's representative office in Texas to work on new joint projects to promote Bitcoin adoption. Now, Melina Mayorga, the Salvadoran ambassador to the U.S., announced the news in a statement on Twitter February 14th. That's right, quoting them here. "In my meeting with the Assistant Secretary of the Government of Texas, Joe Esperanza, we discussed the opening of the second Bitcoin embassy and the expansion of commercial and economic exchange projects. El Estado de Texas." This is all in Spanish, so I'm not going to read this, but you get the gist. The latest Bitcoin initiative comes a few months after El Salvador opened its first Bitcoin embassy in Switzerland's southern city of Lugano in October of 2022. And as part of the efforts, the two pro-crypto jurisdictions stated working to establish a physical governmental presence to promote cooperation in education and research institutions related to the King Crypto. Massive news. And according to the former Blockstream Chief Strategy Officer Samson Mao, the phenomenon of the Bitcoin embassy is the next step in nation states and cities adopting Bitcoin. He said that such initiatives imply cooperation between countries to develop new initiatives like establishing alliances between places that have adopted Bitcoin. The news comes amid Texas lawmakers reportedly considering a new bill calling for a master plan for the expansion of the blockchain industry. Let's get it. The legal initiative aims to turn Texas into the crypto capital of the country by introducing tax-free shopping with Bitcoin, amongst other proposals. Sounds amazing if you're to ask me. And as previously reported, Texas has emerged as one of the crypto-friendly U.S. states, passing crypto-friendly laws aiming to better adopt commercial laws to blockchain innovation and digital asset regulations. Texas is also home of some of the largest Bitcoin miners in North America, with major mining companies like Riot Blockchain, Core Scientific, and Genesis Digital Assets operating in the state. Now, personally, I think this is tremendous for just Bitcoin adoption in general. And as the game theory continues around the world, I think it is more likely that other maybe states within the United States and nations around the world adopt Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Especially as a legal tender, as El Salvador has already done, and they paid off their debt to the IMF of $800 million. I mean, that's a pretty big deal as well, saying F the IMF. Ultimately, we don't need your corrupt fiat dirty money, nor do we need your control. And with that being shared, let's discuss the latest of what's happening with Binance Coin, BNB. We saw a massive dump, I'd say, in the last 24 to 48 hours as a result of some news, with BUSD, as I covered in great detail in yesterday's episode. So here's what's happening. February 13th, BNB recorded its worst daily performance since November of 2022, falling 8.5% to below $285. The BNB price has since recovered to above $298, but the possibility of facing another sell-off remains pretty high. Let's take a look at a few reasons why. The ongoing decline in BNB price came as a part of the broader rising wedge breakdown down. Notably, February 9th, BNB broke out of its rising wedge pattern, which you can see in this chart, a bearish reversal setup that forms as the price trends upwards in a range defined by two ascending, converging trend lines. And as a rule of technical analysis, aka astrology for men, as Max Kaiser calls it, a rising wedge's profit target is measured after subtracting the maximum distance between the pattern's upper and lower trend line from the breakdown point. Therefore, the BNB rising wedge target comes to near 250, down about 15% from the current price. And interestingly, the 250 level also served as support back in May, September, and November of last year. Now let's discuss the SEC crackdown on Binance USD. The sell-off pressure in the BNB market escalated primarily due to the US SEC crackdown on crypto company Paxos. The regulator had accused Paxos of issuing and listing Binance USD, a Binance-branded stablecoin, which it deems an unregistered security. Paxos has categorically denied the allegation, noting it would go to court if necessary, but the markets have become very fearful after this news. For instance, the number of addresses holding between 1,000 and 10 million BUSD dropped dramatically since February 13th, dumping over $207 million in stablecoins, according to data from Sentiment. That's right, BUSD holders are switching into USDT, which is Tether, and maybe some to USDC. Quoting them here, this is an astounding level of stablecoin dropping, especially while the other three stablecoins, Tether, USD Coin, and DAI, have been seeing big hodler accumulations, noticed Sentiment, adding that the ramifications of the SEC lawsuit have been pushing the BNB price lower, as shared here. It is also seeing a month high in trading volume as its price has dropped, meaning there is a higher probability of the plummet potentially continuing. So if you have your funds currently in BUSD, take heed, take caution, and maybe move that to another stable, or better yet, into the King crypto. From an on-chain perspective, BNB holding sentiment has weakened across all address cohorts, which includes both the small and large investors, whales, sharks, and fishes, all alike. Notably, the number of addresses holding 0.001 to 10 million BNB dropped significantly in January of 2023 and has been unable to recover since. This increases the token's possibility of continuing its downtrend in February. But on a brighter note, the number of addresses holding 10,000 to 100,000 BNB had recovered modestly, indicating some whales have been buying the dip. Sentiment concedes that the ongoing downtrend may not extend to the longer run, saying the SEC crackdown may be a short-term FUD event, as pointed out here. Yes, it's possible that this is one of those instances where people panic and everything returns to normal for Binance by Friday, which is 2 more days, February 17th. So there you have it. How many of you are pretty concerned with BUSD and BNB and Binance, as the regulators seem to be targeting them, and Paxos? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below, and we'll now discuss some more FUD. This is actually coming from Circle, because there were rumors circulating across crypto Twitter just yesterday that the SEC was also cracking down and going after Circle and deeming them a unregistered security, and they came out and said, hey, wait a minute, this isn't true. So here's what's happening. USD Coin, the issuer Circle, denied rumors that it received a Wells notice over the US dollar peg stablecoin. On February 14th, a now deleted tweet from Fox Business reporter Eleanor Terrett claimed that Circle had been ordered by the US SEC and Exchange Commission to seize the sale of USDC due to the stablecoin being an unregistered security. You know what I mean? Now, however, the rumor was swiftly rebuffed by Dante Disparte, Chief Strategy Officer and Head of Global Policy at Circle Pay. Replying Twitter just 15 minutes after Terrett's tweet, Disparte said his firm had not received a Wells notice. A Wells notice is a formal notice sent by the SEC informing the recipient that the agency plans to bring enforcement actions against them. In response to Circle's denial, Terrett said she went with the word of several trusted sources and apologized for the mistake. This is written right here from Eleanor. Here is a response from Circle. I went with the word of several trusted sources on this. I apologize for the mistake. At last, there's a lot of churn, swirl, and rumors informing the market right now. The original tweet from Terrett has since been deleted. Her account on Twitter was temporarily deleted, but has since returned. Correction, Circle had not received a Wells notice, and I truly do apologize for the mistake. I strive to get things right, but also want to admit when I am wrong. I am sorry. Now, fears of regulatory action against stablecoin issuer has been running high this week after Paxos, the issuer of Binance USD, confirmed it received the Wells notice, alleging it failed to register the offering under federal security laws, and asked earlier in the week whether Circle had received a similar notice from the SEC. Disparte shared the following. Circle maintains that USDC is a regulated dollar digital currency issued as stored value under U.S. monetary transmission law. Facts and circumstances in any type of regulatory action like this are all different. There are all structural and regulatory considerations with each of the cryptos that are in circulation around the world. So there you have it. I mean, obviously, this was FUD, but at the same time, you can't be too safe keeping your cryptos with centralized entities, especially any of them out there. You know what I mean? Circle is also the company behind Coinbase, so do note that. And I do feel that the government already has some sort of special relationship. I mean, BlackRock is extremely bullish on USDC. So it just goes to show you they're already working together. So are they likely to do a cease and desist or call Circle be having unregistered securities? I think it is unlikely, but again, anything is possible at the end of the day. That's why I think that the greatest safe haven, aka the fastest horse in the race right now, is Bitcoin. That's the safest place to keep your crypto, in my humble opinion, and that goes for stable coins as well. But that's just my 2 Satoshis. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as you can see, we're currently at 22,863. I want to see the Bitcoin price action hit 23,000 before I end today's live stream. Help me make that happen. Smash the like, hit the bell icon, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And with that being shared, now let's discuss Bitcoin outpacing Ethereum during this cycle, and then we'll discuss the latest with Andrew Tate and some confiscated BTC. Let's break this down, shall we? A closely followed analyst believes that Bitcoin could now be in a position to significantly outperform Ethereum. Synonymous analyst Callio tells his 500,000 Twitter followers that the Ethereum-Bitcoin pair is now trading below a diagonal trend line, suggesting ETH is likely to trail Bitcoin in terms of gains. Quoting him here, ETH/Bitcoin finally broke beneath the high time frame support line we have been watching. Remember, this chart only shows relative strength to Bitcoin, so expect to see Bitcoin begin to outpace a bit more rapidly sometime over the next several weeks. Now, traditionally, a bearish ETH/Bitcoin chart indicates Bitcoin will likely rise in value faster than ETH in the general altcoin market. But looking at Bitcoin itself, Callio says Bitcoin is likely headed towards the 30,000 price level after it managed to bounce from support at around 21 Gs. Quoting him here, high time frame support has held strong. SPX is currently at 4,000 support, which I still see rallying to 4,300 over the coming weeks. $30,000 per Bitcoin is a magnet. Send it. And in the short term, Callio says Bitcoin will likely gather more momentum if it takes out resistance at 22.4, which we have currently already done. Quoting him here, CPI came in a bit higher than expected and the market is basically flat. SPX and NASDAQ index look primed for a leg higher after a bit of initial volatility, and Bitcoin is knocking on the door of reclaiming a major level it lost last Thursday. $30,000 is still a magnet. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst, and when do you feel that 30,000 could be in the cards for the King Crypto? Do you think that can occur still this month of February, potentially next month of March, or would that be maybe in the second quarter of this year? Holla at your boy and let me know in the comments. I'll be reading all those comments out loud here in a little bit. But now let's discuss the moment we have all been waiting for, the latest of what's happening with Andrew and Tristan Tate in regards to their precious crypto. As you probably already know, they were recently arrested roughly 60 days ago, and they've been detained unlawfully without any charges released. You know what I mean? So to keep someone in prison without any charges whatsoever is very, very strange and weird. But then again, he could be a target and they could be making an example of him. So let's discuss this, shall we? That's the top G right there. Here we go. Authorities in Romania, where the British American lives, has since seized millions of dollars worth of luxury cars, homes, and watches since his untimely arrest. But what about his Bitcoin? Tate, who boasted about scamming men via his webcam business, had a huge internet following, frequently talked about the size of his cryptocurrency stash. Now, Mateea Petrescu, a spokesperson for Andrew and his brother Tristan, who was also arrested, told Decrypt that Romanian police also confiscated hardware wallets containing digital assets. Here we go. Andrew Tate's wallet contained 5 Bitcoin today, worth 111,000. Tristan's wallet held around 16 Bitcoin. So in total, that's $467,625 worth of the asset. Now here's where I have to chime in. The top G, the self-proclaimed billionaire, has boasted about being a billionaire. Now, if I was a billionaire, I'd probably have the majority of my fortune in Bitcoin. So what does this tell me? It's actually quite hilarious. Obviously, they're not stupid. I don't think Andrew or Tristan is an idiot. You know what I mean? So maybe they did find a hardware wallet. Maybe it was considered his girlfriend's. Maybe he used that for purchases, etc. But I could almost assure you he's going to have a lot more money in cryptocurrency than 111,000, which was confiscated by the authorities, especially considering Andrew is on record coming up and investing $600,000 into Bitcoin. This is a few years back, and he flipped that to $12 million. And this is back like 2020, 2021. This is before like the all-time highs. So I can only imagine the wealth he has accumulated in Bitcoin, especially knowing, you know what I mean, that he is being targeted by the Matrix and him openly speaking out about this. The greatest way to preserve your wealth is with Bitcoin because it is unconfiscatable. The only reason some of the Bitcoin got confiscated is because it was on a physical wallet, and it was, you know, I guess whenever the authorities raided the houses of the women, they happened to find these crypto wallets, and apparently they must have opened them to find out what's in them, or maybe even Tristan and Andrew said, these are the codes, this is all that's in it, that's all you got. Now also keep in mind, they have already seized many of his luxury whips. As you knew, he had a fleet of supercars, including a like $5-6 million Bugatti. Rumor has it they don't have the Bugatti, but they have the other luxurious cars. But at the end of the day, hypothetically think about this. If you were a billionaire, wouldn't you just remember your seed phrase to your crypto wallet and then no one can ever confiscate it? I would imagine that's what Michael Saylor has done. I would imagine that's what the Bitcoin OGs have done, the Max Kaisers, the Stacey Herberts, etc. So I do think this is laughable, but at the same time, it's very entertaining. So let's continue here. And also, why Andrew Tate is all in on Bitcoin. If you missed this, this was a video that Pompliano did, and it dives a little deeper into his Bitcoin investments. Now, Andrew Tate's Bitcoin was held at his girlfriend's hardware wallet, the spokesperson said, adding that it couldn't be confirmed whether the social media star owned more crypto than has already been seized, but we all know the answer to that. Romanian police told Decrypt they couldn't comment. Now, Andrew Tate has talked about Bitcoin a lot. You can actually control your own money, he said last year on Anthony Pompliano's Bitcoin podcast. How difficult is it to move serious cash? No problem with Bitcoin. I'm going full crazy, Mr. Blockchain now, he added. And being broke, unconnected, the weak should bother you deep inside. And only once it deeply bothers you will truly attempt to fix it. Now, this was quoted back February 14th, 2023 from a recent tweet. I guess that was yesterday on Valentine's Day. But on that same podcast with Pompliano, Tate, who grew up in Luton, UK, talked about how much money he has made from his crypto investments. Quoting him here, I turned 600 grand into $12 million. Now, the alleged criminal was banned from social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube last year for violating, allegedly, their policies. The former Big Brother contestant made allegedly misogynistic comments, but gained a huge following in a short space of time, largely because others reshare his clips and platforms like TikTok. That's right, the virality was crazy for Tate all across social media. Tate managed webcam models in Romania, but prosecutors have since hit him with rape charges. They claim the two brothers wanted to transform women who work for them into slaves, according to Reuters report, who cites the court documents. But there you have it. I also must share that recently some info was just released showing the women who allegedly are claiming charges against Tate, allegedly, that their WhatsApp conversations had been revealed and they were looking to frame Andrew and Tristan. That's right, literally looking to frame him. So it doesn't shock me when a man is worth hundreds of millions or $1 billion plus, hypothetically, that women would target him to try to get money out of him in the form of extortion. It happens all the freaking time, too commonly, and it is very sad. All I know is this: if there's no charges against him, you got to free the top G. And hopefully, you know what I mean? The truth will be uncovered in time. If he was guilty and there were legitimate charges against him, don't you think they would have already submitted these charges? But I feel like it's a fishing expedition. There's nothing against him they can use, and they're going to look bad at the end of the day. But it is what it is. How do you feel this is likely to play out? And if you were to guess, how much Bitcoin do you think Andrew and Tristan collectively have? My guess would be thousands upon thousands, and I'm sticking to it. And with that being shared, now let's dive into the live Q&A. Welcome to everyone just tuning in. We're still not at 23,000, so let's pump this baby up, shall we? Yeah, and now it's not even about losing Bitcoin in boating accidents. You could lose your Bitcoin in an alien invasion. You know what I mean, fam? And I'm going to scroll to the top. Shank and back. Good morning, fam. I appreciate you tuning in live. Thanks for being extra early. The market cap swelling nicely, slowly does it. That's right. Pezza says, I've changed my name from Not Your Keys, Not Your Cheese to Not Your Keys, Nacho Cheese. Good morning, crypto fam. Appreciate that. You guys are awesome. SpongeBob, good morning. Sailing with Twins. JV, talk us through 23,000 today, please. Thanks in advance. You got it. You already know. Sailing, what's your take on the tail story versus wrong and the way they treated him not proven guilty? I mean, I already touched upon it. I think it's unjust. I think it is unlawful. And coming from someone who has been falsely in prison on false charges, I can relate 100%. Women have an unfair advantage in the court system, and it's very, very sad, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? A woman could claim charges without any evidence whatsoever and have any man arrested instantly without any investigation. They can take your child, they can take your house, they can confiscate your assets. It's a damn shame. It happens all too much, especially to influencers. We've seen it happen to Mike Tyson in his prime. We've seen it happen to Tupac Shakur in his prime. It happens to, musicians. It happens to anyone of wealth. At the end of the day, we saw it happen with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. That's just one of many examples. You know what I mean? So I just hope justice is served. When I pray for justice. If he really did do these bad things, I pray justice served. If he really didn't do it and he's innocent, I pray for justice to be served because it's the right thing. You know what I mean? But I don't buy into none of this mainstream jargon. They're actually teaching children in school Andrew Tate classes. Meanwhile, you can have Rihanna and Beyonce and all these other satanically influenced musicians infiltrating your child with the worst messages you can ever possibly think of. Very satanic. Drugs. At least Tate preaches a drug-free message for children, and he teaches you to work out and make your mind stronger. But the powers that be or the Matrix, they perceive this as a threat. And it couldn't be any more obvious to me. You know what I mean? So I'm sticking up for the Tates until there's evidence presented. Free the Tates. This is unjust. And until people actually speak out about it, injustices like this will only continue. It's just a sad reality the way it is. Let me know if you guys can relate. You agree or disagree? Let me know. Maybe he had twin diesel engines on the yacht. Coffee time. Made the mistake of moving somewhere where they could get to him. I mean, regardless of where he lived, I think when the Matrix attacks, the Matrix attacks. You can get swatted. It's happened to him before. It happens to other influencers as well. It's insane what can happen. There's really no safe zone, you know what I mean, from it at the end of the day. And the bigger you become, the bigger of a target you become. It just is what it is. He's definitely a fearless speaker of the truth, but stayed into enemy territory. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Pezza, 120. Yeah, mentioning he must own 120 Bitcoin. I'd say I'd bet I'd bet a lot that he owns way more than 120 Bitcoin. Because again, hypothetically speaking, based on his own claims, if he is a billionaire, I would like to think the majority of that billion is in Bitcoin in some hard wallets. You know what I mean? Because he is a smart man and not a stupid man. You know what I mean? How did they seize his Bitcoin? Must have left it on the exchanges. I think when they raided his home, his alleged girlfriend's house, as mentioned in the story, they found the device. And I guess someone must have gave the code to the device for them to see what's on it. I don't know if the girlfriends gave the code. I don't know if they personally gave the code. It's a mystery. You know what I mean? Not your keys, nacho cheese. I like that, Pezza. Sounds good. Got a good flow to it. Long live Top G, says J-Dub the Laker. Good morning, family. Yeah, man. TJ Mooney, 2 for 1. Welcome. Appreciate y'all. Thomas says 28,000. I agree. I think we're more likely to hit 28,000 at this point than go back down to $18,000. However, if we did revisit sub 20, I'm taking full advantage of it. You know what I mean? No mercy. Cobra Kai style. Can you please explain the fear greed chart you always show? I want to understand the significance of it. Yeah, let's do that real quick. Why not? Great idea. So let's actually show my screen first and foremost. Let's look at the Bitcoin, crypto, greed, and fear index. Let me know if you guys can see that right now. Here's how it works. This is the extreme fear is a sign investors are too worried. That can be a buying opportunity, aka BTFD, buy that freaking dip. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. So there you have it. So when we see this in greed or extreme greed, that means the market is more likely to correct. And when we see this in fear or extreme fear, that means the market is most likely due for a pump. So it's pretty simple. Let me know if that makes sense, and now that you understand that or not. If you don't, we'll break it down even further, but please do let me know. And great question. I appreciate you asking. Imagine being held in jail longer than a day with no charges filed against you. Yeah, I've only spent 1 day in jail from charges I never did. Someone filed a false police report against me to have me unlawfully arrested, and I had to prove my innocence. And it took 11 months through the court system before my trial to prove my innocence, where the judge said, this man is innocent, not guilty. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine being stuck there for over 30 days for something that you never did, without any charges being filed against you. Do you know how corrupt that is, how unlawful that is? And that can't happen in the United States, FYI, but it can happen in Romania. They just keep extending the 30 days and extending the 30 days, and they can do this for freaking 6 months, up to 180 days. You know what I mean? Top G could be in prison for up to 180 days, even if you're innocent, even without any charges against you, even without any evidence. You know what I mean? That's how corrupt it is. It's truly sad. You know what I mean? Anyone buy Bitcoin on Strike? Are their quoted prices pretty close to the live prices? Great question. How many of you have the Stripe app? I remember when I went to download it like last year, it wasn't available in Puerto Rico, so I was never able to actually use Strike. I hope now it's available, but I don't know, so that's a great question. SpongeBob says I would hire a good attorney and charge them with kidnapping and criminal oppression. Exactly. I'm sure he has the best attorneys, obviously. And the last run-up, Strike was running a big premium, but I believe that has been fixed. Thanks for the insights. Elizabeth Warren is a feral cat. I don't know what that means, but I don't like Elizabeth Warren. I don't think anyone does. Peace, No War. You made us watch all that when the title talks about Andrew Tate. I don't know your point there, Peace, No War. But yeah, we talked about Andrew Tate. You not satisfied? You want a whole show dedicated to Tate? Let me know what you were anticipating. Nice attitude with that username. Peace, No War. I don't think anyone made you watch. Fair enough. Binance turned over 16 Bitcoin that belonged to Tristan Tate to authorities. Really? Binance turned that over? The world is going on. J-Dub, why small amounts and not large fees? Bobby Bitcoin, welcome fam, says a Bitcoin miner at 32 cents. 17 million BlackRock investment and debt reorganization leads to ATA over $13 plus 40x plus at the next halving. Yeah, cool stuff. The price will always be about 100 BKS over actual cost, but the fees will be basically free, says J-Dub. Steve Hub says I got Bitcoin going to about 28 in the fifth wave. Then the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement from the move of 15,640 to 28 would be about 20,100. It would stop at the 0.5 Fib retrace at 21,005. Good stuff. Most of his assets are locked in a trust. That's how I would keep my money away from greedy government. Touche. Thank you, Dankness. Good morning, family. Maybe he lost some in a boating accident, maybe an alien abduction. Who really knows? I mean, I lost all my Bitcoin in an alien abduction. It happens all the time, doesn't it? They seized all Andrew's watches. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I mean, they're going to take anything worth of value. It's time they gave them back. Facts. Steve says 22,950 is the high this hour. Close enough to 23. Well, we'll take it, but we're shooting for higher. We still got some time to go, so let's make it happen. Phil C says, I bet if they can't charge him with anything, they're going to try and leave him poor. They can try, but you're not going to do that to the top G. Realistically speaking, hypothetically, if they seized every asset he had and they really did seize all of his crypto and his billion-dollar fortune and he had nothing, don't you think he would just recreate that fortune with what he knows? There's no doubt about it in my mind, so you know what I mean? I can see Andrew bouncing back from this stronger than ever. Agree. And they're kind of making a martyr out of him. It's just going to make him that much more popular. I think they messed up royally, and that's just my opinion. Michael Jackson, another. Boom. Satan's world, getting worse every day. You ain't telling no lies, Pezza. Bitcoin is the only antidote to Satan we have. Bitcoin is God hacking humanity. Feel me? Rihanna was dressed in red, and she threw up the satanic Illuminati sign at the very end. They didn't show that on TV, but you can see it, her performance. You can see that on Twitter or social media. And she was rocking a pentagram on her freaking outfit. So, yeah, expect nothing less. Every Super Bowl halftime show is a satanic ritual, just like every Grammy Award show is a satanic ritual. Satan rules this realm, unfortunately. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Bitcoin is our only antidote. Free him and free Julian Assange. Facts. The people in power want their servants weak and confused. That's right. They don't want men to have good influences over them. They'd rather you just worship the devil. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. Don't worry. Cream always rises to the top. You must have to watch it. Doesn't turn sour. Top Shada says, hey man, can you please explain yeah, we explained that. What are we in now, fear or greedy? Currently, we're rated a 53, which is neutral, and yesterday was a 50, which ultimately means we're dead in the middle right now. We're not greed or fear. We're just neutral. It's sentiment. Do people want to buy or fear? They want to sell. Virtual says, Muslims spent 14 years in Guantanamo Bay with no charges. I thought you're innocent until proven guilty. They say that, but the reality of the system, you are guilty until proven innocent. So even though they say you're innocent until proven guilty, unless you're Bankman-Fried, you're guilty until proven innocent. Yeah, the system's not fair whatsoever. JV, what are your thoughts on the SEC trying to ban crypto staking in the U.S.? Is there anywhere in the world that's safe from corruption? Yeah, it seems anywhere outside the U.S. when it comes to crypto corruption is much safer. We have an organization called the SEC, which pretends to be protecting investors, but we all know they're doing way more harm than protecting the little guy. That, my friend, is a fact. They're shaking down these big companies so they can usher in unethical regulations. That was the purpose of why they put Bankman-Fried there with FTX, doing business with Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, having meetings behind closed doors. They don't even reveal. They say they were talking about donations and doing great in the world. Sure you were. Sure you were. Whatever you say, Gary. Whatever you say. So my personal thoughts is they can't ban crypto staking outside the U.S. We have regulators, unfortunately, in the U.S. which are overreaching because they're trying to protect their central bank scam called fiat money. You know what I mean? And Bitcoin is a direct threat to the central banking cartels. That, my friend, is a fact. That's why you have the Charlie Mungers, the Warren Buffetts, and all the FUD puppets, claiming FUD against Bitcoin. You can't, they're protecting the old legacy system because they're a part of it. You know what I mean? Bitcoin is a new money, can't be stopped. Crypto staking, I think, will continue in everywhere except the United States because people in the U.S. are going to be too scared because the SEC is going to try to shake them down, just like they did with Kraken with the recent $30 million settlement. That's how I feel. Channel getting more popular. Weirdo alert. Ball G says, JV, what are your thoughts? Yeah, we discussed that. Right, wrong channel, no battle, but the one inside oneself. Gary Gensler is Elizabeth Warren's puppet. Facts. Stake your hex using a VPN, says Matt and Bali. Eat from the tree of knowledge or stay ignorant, says Yo. Facts. Stoicism and Taoism are good disciplines. I'm a big fan of Taoism. The Tao Te Ching. Yeah, Lao Tzu. I lived in China, so that's how they pronounced it. The Tao Te Ching. Lao Tzu, Lao Tzu, one of my favorites, actually. I'm a huge fan. I love Buddhism. I love Taoism. I love all teachings of positivity for humanity. I think there are a lot of similarities between Christianity, Taoism, Buddhism. I mean, Buddha and Jesus virtually had the same teachings. Allah as well, and Islamic culture. So I think these are great teachings. I think, unfortunately, the powers that be, they use religion to destroy spirituality, but spirituality is very real. You know what I mean? There is no battle but the one inside oneself. Facts. You know what I mean? But anyways, fam, with that being shared, now a recap of what I covered with you here. In today's show, we discussed the latest technical analysis with Bitcoin eyeing its next big move, which could see a 28,000 price action or a 19,000 retest. We also discussed the latest with El Salvador opening a Bitcoin embassy in the United States and Texas. Let's go. I also shared with you 3 reasons why Binance's BNB token risks sliding further by March. We also discussed breaking news that Circle squashes the rumors of the planned SEC enforcement action. We also discussed that Bitcoin is primed to outpace Ethereum rapidly in the coming weeks, according to top crypto strategist Crypto Callio. And we also discussed the latest of what's happening with Tristan and Andrew Tate, with them revealing how much Bitcoin he has had seized by the authorities. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below, and I look forward to seeing you